Well, our former clerk made a decision that he wanted to have more apprenticeships and to encourage young people to come to work here. And part of that was our drive to increase the diversity of staff that we have here. And also we have fewer young people working here than we have older people. We wanted to make sure that we could also encourage young people to think about a career in Parliament and at the House of Commons.
I'm currently the Media and Communications Assistant for the House of Commons, and it involves a range of different things from monitoring news to assisting the team with events. A large part of my role is assisting the House of Commons photographer. Other than that, it's quite admin at times. I manage diaries.
So my job in the Department of Finance involves working between two departments. This is between the Pensions Department and also the Accounts Payable, which is located in the Financial Services. The two jobs are sort of separate between two different sectors of Parliament. So obviously you've got the administration side of the business, which is a lot more involved with pensions. So it's obviously dealing with house staff and also members. Whereas on the accounts payable side, it's just paying for the services and also dealing with suppliers, those external and internal stakeholders that we have within Parliament.
Our first cohort, all 10 that came in, secured jobs at the end of their apprenticeship here at the House of Commons, which was fantastic. Since then, we have said farewell to a couple of them. One has gone on to university, and the other has secured work in the private sector.
Well, once the decision had been made that we were going to have apprenticeships, we looked to see who we could work with as a third-party provider, because we realised that if we advertise on our own, there is a perceived barrier for people, that Parliament has a certain reputation, the House of Commons looks a certain way, which is kind of older people, white men, waving their ballot paper in the chamber and being quite noisy, and that's quite off-putting for some people. So we wanted to make sure that we could work in partnership with another organisation who would be able to reach out to young people and say, have you thought about working for the House of Commons?
When I was an apprentice in the Media and Communications Office, one of the highlights was working closely with the House of Commons Speaker's Office and being involved in the planning of Nelson Mandela's tribute here after his passing. I think that was one of the highlights as an apprentice, because it was just hands-on work. You were there, you had to, being involved in such a big event. It was quite an honour for me, and you wouldn't even dream that you're going to be working in the House of Commons and involved in such a big event.
I think this scheme's been very successful in meeting the aims that we'd set out to do. So we wanted to make sure that we were looking at having apprenticeships in the organisation, that we were looking at improving the diversity of people coming in, particularly young people. We've also been very successful in terms of upskilling our own staff. So, for example, we have staff who in their current roles don't have management responsibility for people, but in order to progress, they're going to need to develop those skills. And so working with an apprentice has been a really good way of developing that kind of skills and giving them experience, and then supported them in getting jobs elsewhere in the organisation.
If you can't find something that you want to do at university, or if you don't find a subject that you really find passionate about, I would definitely recommend investing your time into an apprenticeship, especially at the age that we're at. I mean, I'm one of the older apprentices, and I felt that this has been a great opportunity for me to get myself into a very prestigious business, such as the House of Commons, and obviously, use the experience of others to learn and move forward in a highly prestigious industry.
From 16 to 25, I would recommend doing an apprenticeship, because you don't just get skills from it, you also get paid for it, which is nice. It's a good balance. I think in some terms it's sometimes a little bit better than doing a degree, because you have workable experience to show on your CV.
When we first started the apprenticeship scheme, we piloted it for a year to see how it would work, how it would land. We found it very successful, so we've continued. It's not something that we're in it for the short term. We intend to continue with this. In terms of how it might develop further, I think that's something that we'd want to talk to the people who've been involved with, so not just the apprentices, but also the people who've been working with them and managing them. It's quite possible that there are other areas who haven't benefited from an apprentice yet, but would certainly like to.